5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shadow Worlds Radio presents Coach Ed's Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
This is the Read and Attack Show.
This is a sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
And I give you my perspective.
Coach Ed
And Attack.
Sports Talk Show.
I'm going to attack it just like I would as a coach.
Read and Attack.
Read and Attack.
Sports Talk Show.
I'm going to attack it just like I would as a coach.
Coach Ed's Read and Attack.
And I give you my perspective.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
Thank you all for tuning in today.
Read and Attack.
This is a sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
Coach Ed
Read and Attack.
Sports Talk Show. Read and Attack.
Read and Attack Show.
Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Coach Ed coming to you with another Coach Ed's Read and Attack Sports Show. Thank you for everyone for being here today to tune into subjects that I'm bringing to you today. Got some interviews coming forward to you, as well as some different storylines throughout sports, NBA, WNBA, whole bunch of other things coming on. So I'm ready to rock and roll to bring you my perspective in these different sports matters. So hope you guys enjoy the show. Thank you for your continuous support. Also, if you're new, make sure you guys, if you haven't already done so, head over to YouTube, head over to my Twitter page. Make sure you subscribe, hit any notification button so you know when I put out new content. Make sure you like all the episodes and share on all your social media platforms. Make sure you also always tune in, and if you miss an episode, just make sure you go to iHeart or Amazon or whatever platform you use and look for Coach Ed's Read and Attack, either through Coach Ed's Read and Attack, or you can look through the Shadow Worlds Radio, the Unconcealed Talk Show. That's where you can also find me. So make sure you guys touch base with me there, continue to follow, helping me grow my channel. So I'm ready to turn it on and turn it up. So let's go. What's up, everyone? Now let's talk about the WNBA and the things that are going on in the league that we all know as the W, that we love. We love these women, the way they continue to play and bring it each and every night. Most recently, you had the Connecticut Sun, who defeated the Las Vegas Aces. Now, the Aces started out the season 7-0, but Thursday night, they ended up with a loss against the Connecticut Sun in Connecticut. DeWanna Bonner showed out that game. She ended up with 41 points against the defending champs. And every time you turned around, there she was making a play, helping push her team forward to the point where they ended up with the win against the top team in the league. The final score was 94-77. And again, like I said, DeWanna Bonner, she ended up with 41 points, which is a career high. And Connecticut ended up giving the Aces their first loss. It was a great game. It was a testament to the level of play in the league. It's not going to be a cakewalk for anyone. But Bonner, like I said, she was 16 to 23, which was 69.6%. She was 5 of 7 from three-point line, which is 71.4%, 4 or 5 from the free throw line. She had a plus minus of 29. She had a total of 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And like I said, she ended up with 41 points. She also had help from Brianna Jones, who ended up with 12 points, and Tiffany Hayes, who ended up with 11 points. But again, it was all about Brianna. With Las Vegas, they were led by Kelsey Plum. She ended up with 16 points. Asia Wilson had 13 points, Jackie Young with 10, and Chelsea Gray with 12. So their key players, they contributed, but not to the point of DeWanna Bonner. I mean, she was phenomenal in that game. So kudos to her. And now we're just continuing on. Las Vegas ended up rebounding with the win. Now they stand at the top of the league at 8-1. Connecticut is 8-2. The New York Liberty ended up with a big win on Sunday against the Dallas Wings. New York is at 6-2. Washington Mystics are at 5-3. The LA Sparks are at 4-3. Dallas Wings are at 5-4. Chicago is at 5-5. They're coming in at 7. Indiana is 2-5. Atlanta is 2-5. Phoenix is 1-5. Seattle is 1-6, and Minnesota brings up the rear at 1-7. So that's the way the standings are right now in the league. Now I talked a little bit about New York and Dallas. It was a great game. New York ended up coming away with the win. Dallas, for the most part, to start the game, they went into halftime with the lead, but New York fought hard in the second half, coming away with the win, 102-93. In that game, they were led by Brianna Stewart. Brianna Stewart ended up with 32 points. She was very efficient. This is her stat line, all right? She was 15 of 20, 75% efficiency, 2 of 4 from three-point line. She didn't attempt any free throws. She was a plus 19. Overall, she had a total of 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. Now, again, like I said, for 32 points. You also had Sabrina Ionescu with 22 points, 7 of 16 in shooting, 3 of 8 from 3, 5 of 5 from the three-point line. She was a plus 21. She had 6 rebounds, 6 assists, no steals, and 2 turnovers. Okay, so, but again, like I said, she was very efficient. You also had Courtney Vandersloot with 15, Maureen Jones with 12 points. For Dallas, you had Satu Sabali, 17 points. She outdid her sister. I would definitely say that. She outplayed her sister because Naira did not end up with a point. But Satu had 17 points. She was 6 of 17 shooting, 1 of 6 from three-point line, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. She also had 5 offensive rebounds. I will definitely commend Dallas in this game because they attacked the offensive board. The first half, they were phenomenal on the offensive board. Continuing the scoring for them, you had Arike Ogbugwale. She ended up with 25 points, 7 for 20 for 35% shooting, 3 of 8 from the 3, 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Now, she was a minus 14. She ended up with 6 rebounds, 7 assists, and how many steals did she have? She had 1 steal, but she ended up with 25 points. Now, I love her game. I really do. I love her game. She is phenomenal. I think she is definitely one of the elite players in the league. This game between New York and Dallas also had 3 of the top 4 scorers in the league. You had Brianna Stewart, who came in at number 2. You had Arike Ogbugwale at number 3 and Satu Sabali at number 4. So, I mean, it was a great game to watch. I think this is going to continue when they meet in Dallas. It's going to be a tough one going forward. But again, I like Dallas. I like the team that did their construction and that they have down there. They have good speed. They have good size. They can play big, or they can match up if you have a small, quick team. So she's kudos to Dallas. I love their team. Again, like I said, and it's something that I definitely appreciate. Now, one thing I do want to give credit to the league is recently we had a situation and the league stepped up and spoke volumes about it. So it dealt with, let me pause this, okay. It dealt with the situation with Brittney Griner. Brittney Griner recently ran into a situation in the Dallas airport. And it bothers me that, we're at a point like this where a woman who's been through a lot in herself, having to deal with what she went through out overseas in Russia, being wrongfully convicted of a crime. This country got behind her. The government got behind her, did what they had to do to bring her home. But the issue was, I'll just read the statement from the WNBA. The WNBA issued the following statement on June the 10th regarding yesterday's incident involving the Phoenix Mercury's Brittney Griner. As we gather additional information about today's incident at the Dallas airport, it has come to our attention that this was orchestrated by a social media figure and provocateur. His actions were inappropriate and unfortunate. The safety of Brittney Griner and all WNBA players is our top priority. Priority to the season, the WNBA worked together with the Phoenix Mercury and Brittney Griner's team to ensure her safety during her travels, which included charter flights for WNBA games and assigned security personnel with her at all times. We remain steadfastly committed to the highest standards of security for players. Now, the statement you can find on the WNBA's Twitter page, on their league webpage. You can definitely find this. But the bottom line is, whatever happened, I don't know the specifics, but something did happen, and someone was trying to stir the pot in a sense to create issues. It leaves you creating thoughts in your mind. Whether it's, dealing with, her getting wrongfully corrected overseas, whatever the case may be. You had someone who feels that they need to create something for social media status to push their respective envelope. This woman has already been through enough. She's even speaking out for the return of other Americans wrongfully convicted overseas. And there are those who are, journalists, whatever, who have been accused of spying for this country when they weren't, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is this woman has spoken out. She's a true American. Should be respecting that. I would hope you would respect that. But you know what? Let's take the political aspect out of it. The fact that she's been through this and she's here back home in the country with her family, around those who love her, playing in the WNBA, playing the sport she loves, giving us great joy watching her play this game. And someone to come up and, whatever the reason, try and provoke whatever they were trying to do is something that I find appalling. Hopefully whoever it is, whatever it is, if they can be, arrested and convicted, if it's a crime, hopefully then that's what will happen, and they can face the consequences of their action. Because for the WNBA to put out a statement like that, it's concerning for me. The other issue is, what now, WNBA, hey, let's step up and let's do what we have to do to make sure that all the women in this league, all the teams, have their flights chartered, so they can have a charter flight. They don't have to, travel with, everyone else. They can go in privately, just like they do in the male professional sports, in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball. They all get charter flights. We need to step up as one to make sure these women are protected, because it's crazy to hear things like this, especially when you have Brittney Griner, who's going through what she's going through, the past couple of years, being arrested overseas and having to fight for her freedom. Hopefully, like I said, she won't have to face things like that again. And again, I don't know all the particulars. Nothing has been released. When it does, you will be hearing my thoughts and my perspectives on that. But, again, none of these women should be facing this. They're playing a basketball game. They're making a career. They're making their living, in their home, in their home country for the most part, doing what they do, what they love to do. So hopefully we can all be much more supportive and step up and support them as a whole. And, we don't find things like this, have to talk about things like this again. Last thing I want to talk about in this subject matter is Sue Bird. They just retired her jersey. Congratulations, Sue Bird. You definitely deserve this. You definitely deserve this, man. The things that she's done for the WNBA, for women's basketball as a whole. I mean, she's created a great culture for the WNBA and for young girls to follow, suit. I mean, from her time, playing in the high school leagues in New York to going out to UConn before ending up with the Seattle Storm, and also, in the Olympics, everything that she's done. I mean, kudos to her. Congratulations. It's well deserved. She's definitely a Hall of Famer in my eyes. And hopefully she'll be a Hall of Famer. They will definitely recognize her as a first ballot Hall of Famer. So, again, kudos to her, to the Seattle Storm organization. Thank you for doing something like this. It's well deserved. And I hope the rest of the WNBA will definitely give her the due respect. I think they do, but hopefully they will continue to do that and show her the love as she goes along. So, definitely have a mad love for her, for Brittney Griner, for everything that she's going through, and all the women in the WNBA. Thank you. Thank you. As a father of women and as a grandfather of a young girl, you ladies are a great inspiration to the women in my life and the girls in my life. So thank you. So going to take a break. Thank you all for listening in, and we'll be right back after this.
Having credit issues? Tired of getting denied for a car, a loan, or house? Let Wise Consulting Solutions help you improve your scores and get you back on track. Sign up and schedule a free consultation and credit analysis today.
All right, everyone. We are back now, and I have I'm really pleased to bring to you a special interview. Right now, I have with you great content creator Tommy G. For those of you who don't know, this man is phenomenal with his work on Giants content. I mean, he hits it from all angles. He's very knowledgeable. Now, I know I'm smart, but this man is definitely probably exceeds me with some of the in Giants content information. So
yeah, you gassing me up right off the bat. Damn.
Nah, but it's true, man. It's true.
Thank
It's
you.
true. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're welcoming Tommy G to the show. How you doing today, Tommy?
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. Appreciate the intro. You already know how I feel about you. Phenomenal show, The Amazing World of Sports. You do an unbelievable job. The cerebral approach you take to content, the deep detailed dives you do. Always been a fan of your stuff. And you know what? You always been a supporter of mine. I see you in my live chats. I see you in my comments. So you mean the world to me. Same way, same things you just said about me, same way I feel about you and your show. So this is a pleasure for me to be on and chop it up with you tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So let's get right to it. So when did you first get involved in sports, and what sports were they? Like football, basketball, soccer? I mean, what sports?
Yeah, also before we get into it, this is a great format. You have so many shows. It's just like, Giants, football, but it's the off season. Let's get to know each other better. Let's get to know these creators better. So I love this format. And then before I started too, my apologies. I want to say rest in peace, Jeff. Solid dude. I didn't get really a chance to go on camera and say that. He was an amazing individual. When I first started doing content YouTube, he reached out to me. He gave me some tips, some pointers. I wanted to say rest in peace to a solid dude.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I really appreciate that. So yeah, Jeff is definitely one of those ones who always there for everyone. So definitely.
Absolutely.
So
all right. So now we got that out the way. Believe it or not, Coach, my first love was basketball, right? So growing up, I was a big Michael Jordan fan, which I shouldn't really say that because I'm a Knicks fan, but I was a Jordan fan. Listen, you gotta give me a little bit of grace. I was only 10, 11 years old.
I get you.
You know what I'm saying? I had the Jordans, I had the Gatorade, I had the Jordan ball. It was all white. So around that age, I really got into basketball. The 92 Olympics, the Dream Team. As I got a little bit older, kids in the neighborhood started playing football. I grew up in the projects in Coney Island, so we played a little two-hand touch. As we got a little older, 15, 16, we got into tackle football on the grass. But really, it was basketball, and then it kind of like translated into football. But I still have both of those are still my heart. But I keep both of them even. I know I do more of the football content, but I love basketball too. But it did start with basketball, and it did start with Michael Jordan getting me into it.
Listen to me. I know most Knicks fans won't admit it, but yeah, deep down inside, when Jordan, before he became Jordan, had an appreciation for his games. I mean, don't forget the Spike Lee, where him and Spike doing the commercial.
Absolutely.
So, I get, and then when he was down in Carolina, I know a lot of Knicks fans that have been Carolina fans, and they was rooting for him. So, trust me, you're not doing.
Whenever he played the Knicks, I wasn't a Jordan fan. I just want to put it out there because I know the Knicks fans finna roast me when this airs. Whenever it was Bulls versus Knicks, it was all out Knicks. No love for the Bulls, but I got to thank MJ. Those 92 Olympics. I was 10 years old. That really got my sports going. Before that, I wasn't really into sports that much. That really kicked me into gear. And I'm gonna just be honest on your show tonight. Give you honest answers straight across the board. So.
Well, that's good. That's the one thing that I appreciate about you. You're genuine, you're honest, and that's why I can relate to you and I can connect with you. So so that's what it is. So basketball, I get it. You're a Knicks fan. That's a beautiful thing. And I guess in a sense, it was to a certain extent Michael Jordan who got you started with sports. So,
yeah, man. Yeah.
Did you play any sports, like organized sports, though? Yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, when we got to like 14, 15, me and the kids in the neighborhood started playing football, two-hand touch, then we got into tackle. So once I got to high school, I was like, damn, I really want to play football now. I was never the strongest, the fastest, the biggest. So when I tried out for high school football freshman year, I didn't make the team. All that made me do was work harder in that off season. I hung around the team, even though I wasn't on the team. I went to the events. We played basketball together, and I really fought to get on the team. And finally, my sophomore year of high school, I made it onto the JV football team, and that's what really, really got me kickstarted. Really got my love of football going because I got firsthand knowledge of the game. I wasn't the best. I'm not going to sit here and say I was an all-star or anything like that, but it really kicked up my knowledge of the game, love of the game, the passion, all those triggers that really get the love going for you.
What position did you play?
Left guard.
Okay.
And a little bit of center. I played a little bit of center, but I like left guard better.
Hey, look, I played minor league, semi-pro. Well, let me rephrase it. When I went out for youth football, they put me at center, but eventually I couldn't because I was too big, so I couldn't play. But when I did minor league, semi-pro, I played center. So to be honest with you, I loved it. I love all 5 spots on the offensive line, but center the most because you're the captain. You're the controlling factor in the whole offense. Nobody can move until you snap that ball. So
that's a good point.
So but I understand. But left guard, so you understand about Bredesen and Azudu very well.
Absolutely. And it's been torturous the last decade watching these Giants offensive lines. I know it's not a Giants show, but as somebody, it's the same thing with you. When you know the game and you know what it's supposed to look like, you know what good is supposed to look like. Not that we were necessarily good or great ourselves, but we know what it's supposed to look like. So it's been a tough decade watching that Giants O-line, but I damn sure couldn't help it.
So who was your biggest influence in terms of football?
That's a good one in terms of football. Let's see. So growing up, it's an interesting story. How I got into football is my mother used to have a friend that came over, a gentleman friend. He was a good friend of hers, good friend of the family. He was a Jets fan. So I was probably like 11, 12 years old. I would watch the Jets game with him. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have any interest in it. But, locally, we didn't have cable or anything like that. The Giants would come on, and I would watch the Giants, and I would say, damn, look at that blue uniform. That's a nice uniform. Watch the games. Guess who I would see? Lawrence Taylor. And I'd be like, who the hell is this dude? Like, why is he so much faster than everybody else? Why is he so much stronger? Why is he always around the ball? And once I seen Lawrence Taylor play, man, that really jump-started me for football because I was like, wow. Like, you could really play the game at that elite level where it looks like you shouldn't even be on the field with the rest of those players. You should be on a better field, a higher field. So Lawrence Taylor, Phil Simms, kind of that era. Unfortunately, right when I started watching football, it was kind of the end of their era. You had that bad blowout loss to the Niners. I think the score was like 49-3 or something like that. And Ricky Waters made me cry. He had like 6 touchdown runs in that game. But I would say Lawrence Taylor really showed me that, damn, not only is this a great sport, but there's a lot of intricacies to how great you can be.
You want to hear something funny too? You just mentioned Ricky Waters, right?
I shouldn't have mentioned it.
No. But here's the thing. Low key, I love Ricky Waters. And here's the reason why. He played at Notre Dame. In the 70s, I was a big Notre Dame fan. Going into the 80s, I mean, before I transitioned, Rutgers eventually became number one. But when you had that era with Raheem Ismail, Rocket Ismail, Raheem Ismail, I get him and his brother mixed up sometimes.
Right.
Tony Rice was the quarterback, Jerome going into Jerome, but Ricky Waters was, man, he was that dude.
Nasty, man, nasty.
Yes. And I hated when he went to the Eagles. I dealt when he was with the 49ers. I could deal with it, even though they were a rival. But when he went to the Eagles, oh my God,
that was tough, man.
That was tough, man. So you said Ricky, oh man, that just was like, yeah.
You remember that game, right? Giants lost.
Yes.
I don't know if he had 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns. I lost count, man, but he had a lot of touchdowns that game.
Did he have 5?
I think it was 5.
I have to go back and look. Okay.
6 might be a little OD. I might be exaggerating with 6, but he had a lot.
No, I got you. He had a lot. That was the point. So I got you. So, okay.
So that was my kickstart. That was watching Lawrence Taylor, that was my inspiration back then.
Did you play any defense in high school?
No, just offense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically, just a quick story. I went to Lincoln High School in Brooklyn, New York. Stephon Marbury, Sebastian Telfair. It's a basketball school. It's not really a football school. And I don't want to knock my rail splitters, but not the best football team. But at that point, they were really good. They were coming off a 9-1 season. Me personally, I didn't come up playing football. I didn't do pee-wee football. I didn't do any of that stuff. So I was always kind of behind the 8 ball. So I put everything into the offensive side of the ball. I played a little bit of special teams, of course, but never defense. I was just focused on offense.
Okay, no, and that's fine. I got you because in college I played defense, strictly defense, and a little special team.
What college did you go to?
King College back then. Now it's King University.
Where's that at?
In Union, New Jersey. It's where I'm at now. It's probably 15 minutes from me. It's in Union County, right next door. If you know Elizabeth, New Jersey, it's right next door. So
damn. Okay.
And here's the funny thing, because I was on field goal, extra point, played left guard. So I got you.
That's why we linked. That's why we got the same mind frame, man.
Exactly. So, but how far in high school did you go? Did you play all the way to your senior year, or was it just your sophomore?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I made the team, like I said, sophomore year, freshman year, I didn't make it. They had a great offensive line. They had a great JV team. Seniors were amazing. So sophomore year, I made it. I played JV my whole sophomore year. Junior year, I was started on JV. Halfway through the year, got called up. That's kind of how we did it. So halfway through the year, call up the good JV players. The team was in the playoffs, so they didn't really want to put the starters on special teams. So I played some special team snaps, and I'll never forget those first couple games playing in varsity, man. You know how you hear the college players when they get to the NFL, and they're like, the speed is crazy. I remember being out there on varsity, like, damn, these are some grown ass men out here. But so then senior year, I started varsity. I started all 10 games, and it was a great experience. Like I said, I was never the best football player, but I was cerebral. I didn't make mistakes. Teaching and coaching was big for me. So I had, a junior coming up that ended up being all city after me. So I was really proud to have helped him, mentor him and get him in that spot. And he was nipping at my heels, man. He was nipping, but thankfully I started the senior year, and then that was it. Didn't get any offers, unfortunately. And, I did 2 years community college and, kind of got into my career after that.
Okay. You ever play any minor league, semi-pro,
No, I was close to playing semi-pro. So when I got out of high school, I started, and nobody knows this story, but I actually started rapping, and I had a record deal. Yeah, I had a record deal when I got out of high school, me and my best friend, and we would do music. That was our lives. Like before we went to college, it was like 2 years where we would just go to studios. We would go to Quad Studios in Manhattan. Quad Studios famous for where Tupac got shot at and that whole thing. We would go there. We would hang out with like Fat Joe, Big Pun. So that was kind of like my life went from like high school football to rapping. But after like 2-3 years, things changed. I had my son. My best friend ended up moving. He got more into his faith of being Muslim. He ended up moving very, very far away. So then, I kind of settled down, got my career. So I never got into the semi-pro. But my heart always stayed in football. My mind always stayed in football. The body didn't.
No, I got you. So have you ever thought about coaching?
Yeah, my son just graduated high school. He played all 4 years. And I always think about it. I always think about coaching. I always think about going back. The part with me would be, where do I find time, right? With my career and, stuff with the content coming about. And, it's time consuming. I'll be honest with the audience. If you're going to do content, right, or you're going to do analysis, like, you got to do it the right way. You never want to put stuff out there and people hear it and they go talk to their friends and they look stupid because you told them something wrong, or you told them something that wasn't correct. You know what I'm saying? So it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of passion and energy. So right now I'm just focused on the content, obviously my career outside of that, and really finding a balance to both, because it's tough to balance. Like, you worked with me this week. I had to reschedule a couple of times. Like, I was on vacation. I came back. I was with my mom. So, that's really my focus right now. But I will say my son has been offered to go back and coach at his high school. So, maybe I could vicariously live through him a little bit.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I understand. And look, you have your priorities, and that's the one thing I respect, because if you go into coaching, whether it's high school, whether it's, kids, you got to be able to give them the attention that they deserve, so I understand. I did youth football 25 years, and the hardest thing to do was to walk away. But, things were changing in my life, and I didn't want to be a part-timer. So I understood. So I respect that. So definitely. So with your playing, what do you feel is your greatest accomplishment? Like, did you guys win a championship, going to the playoff? I mean, what did you win any awards for your school? I mean, for your team? I mean, what was your personal greatest accomplishment?
I mean, to be honest, not to dumb it down, but for me personally, starting varsity that last year, just from where I came up from, I was always a very heavy set kid when I was younger. I didn't get a jump on sports, never played Pee Wee. Even my, freshman year when I went into the high school, I had no thoughts of playing football, but my best friend tried out and he made the team. So I was like, all right, I'll try out. So, starting those 10 games in varsity and being an integral part of the team. And we did make the playoffs. We lost, unfortunately, in the first round to Wagner, which was our arch nemesis. But honestly, Coach, that was my big achievement, man, just being out there. And, my teammates, the other players seeing me come up and work hard. And, from freshman year where I was just a big bull, I was fat. I didn't have nothing to offer to the team. They were like, damn, you really going to try out? To actually sticking around, working with them in the off season, even when I wasn't a member of the team, and I had no guarantee of being a member of the team, but I stuck around them. I helped out. I carried bags. I carried shoulder pads. I helped them get on the bus. We would work outs in the gym. I'd grab the Gatorade, whatever I could do. And I guess for me, it was to feel I was a part of the team before I was. So they respected that. And just that moment, obviously senior night. I don't want to leave out senior night. That's an amazing moment. So I would say that would be the biggest accomplishments.
How many varsity letters do you have then?
Oh, it's a good question. Trying to remember. It's a long time ago now. Yeah, I might have to get back to you on that one.
No problem.
It's been a good 20 years. So
I understand.
How many do you have?
I got my 2 varsity letters, but it's all straight in college. I never played high school, so.
Wow.
So, yeah, I did.
Really?
In high school, I was coaching. So I was coaching.
Get out of here. That's interesting, man.
I had a mother who, that's my baby. You're not playing football. I'm like, come on, Ma. I'm one of the biggest guys. I play in the streets with everyone. It's like, I'm already out there playing with them, but, she's from the island. So she really didn't understand football. So, and I give it to her. I understand. Right. So. So my dad, though, he was a military guy. He wasn't around because he said if he was around, I would have been playing. So,
yeah, oh yeah.
But hey, as soon as I got out of high school and I could make my own decisions, what I do in college, I went and played. So
that's awesome. That's a very unique story, man. That says a lot about you, your character, your discipline to football. Because most people, if they don't play in high school, they ain't really touching it when they get out of college. So that says a lot about you.
Well, the thing about it, though, is I grew up in the 70s, and my dad is he's a Steelers fan. He's a big Steelers fan. So I grew up knowing the Steelers in the 70s.
Can't be mad at that, dude.
The thing about it is when he used to sit me down, and by the time I was, 10, I could sit and I could tell him who was getting the ball. I could say Rocky Blyer's getting the ball, Franco Harris, Lynn Swan, Cunningham, the tight end is getting the football.
Yeah, at 10 years old.
Because I used to pay attention, number one, to down and distance. I'm a big proponent of down and distance. Sometimes a formation, if they were motioning, what they were doing. And sometimes it was just like some of the releases, just little things like that. I picked up on that. So I would say I was at that age, I was about like 40 to 50% accurate. So, and then that's where my love for the game and my analytical approach developed. So that's why when I couldn't play, I coached, and I had a great mentor, Coach Palmer, he really took me under his wing, and, the rest is history. So
absolutely, man.
So let's do a little transitioning from your playing and now with your YouTubing. Sure. What got you started with your YouTubing?
Oh boy. I think you just kind of touched on it. I think once you have that love and that passion for football, it never goes away, right? There's always a different avenue, a different vessel to go back to football. And I think this was mine, Coach. And it's weird how it happened. I had a Twitter account, right? It was my son's Twitter account. He would use it, talk about Madden, stuff like that, young kid stuff. And he stopped using it. So one day he was like, why don't you use my Twitter? Why don't you talk Giants? Like, because me and him we would watch the game. We would talk about strategy. We would talk about personnel, formations. And he'd be like, you always talk about football. He's like, but you don't have nowhere to talk to anybody about it. He's like, why don't you use my Twitter, delete it, start on Twitter? So I did that. That was probably like 4 years ago. And, for, I would say 2 years, I would tweet sporadically every now and then during the games, maybe a little bit after the games. And then about 2 years ago, I really started getting into it. And I said to myself, you know what? You love to do this. You love talking Giants. You love talking football. You never really got that finish in football. You never really got that, how do you say, like that fulfillment? Like it kind of like ended abruptly for me, So I said, I'm going to start tweeting, but I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to do research. I'm going to talk about strategy. I'm going to put thought process behind these tweets. I'm going to pose questions. I'm going to give opinions. I'm not going to do hot takes and these takes that are here today, gone tomorrow. People delete them when they're wrong. I want to talk real football, right? So I started tweeting a lot. And this is kind of around the time Daniel Jones, this is like at the end of his first year, second year. And the whole debate gave birth. And I was really big into that. And I got to be honest, Daniel Jones, that whole debate, that whole conversation really kind of propelled me into the spotlight at first for me to get a voice to put me out there. Because when you have some of these tweets that blow up, so to call it, and they get 1,000 likes, they get 100 comments, the feeling is fleeting, but you may get 20 followers out of that. You may get 10 followers from that. So little by little, I kind of seen, you know what? If I want to get my audience up, there's a certain way to do it. And I did it by standing firm. This is my opinion. This is what I think. I'm a Giants fan. And little by little, I started getting myself out there. I think I went from 300 followers to like 6,000 in a year. But this was the thing. I never could have actually accomplished this without support from the community and some specific individuals out there that embraced me, because anybody could sit there and say, yeah, I did this. I don't owe nobody nothing. I made myself. Yeah, you definitely made yourself, but you got to thank the ones who helped you get started. That's essential in any business, not even business, personal business, whatever it is. There's people that always, everything you do, say, hey, grab my hand. Let me bring you a little bit further. And I had blessings like that. I had a few individuals, some of my friends with the Giants Zone. I want to shout them out. They started up a podcast a couple years ago. We used to talk before that, like, you're going to get a podcast, I'm going to get a podcast, how we want to do this. This is before I ever even showed my face to anybody. They end up doing the podcast first. They had me on there. I'll never forget. It was my first podcast ever was 2 years ago, almost to the day. But I was so nervous. Like, I couldn't tell you nothing what the show was about that day. That's how nervous I was. The first time I was ever on there, right? I want to shout them out. Then I started doing spaces, the Twitter spaces. But what I would do is I wouldn't just go on there and talk. I would structure it. All right, this is what topic we're going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about this for 10 minutes. We're going to move on to the next topic. And I did the Twitter spaces probably for like 2 months. And Eli Vibes Rax, he's from the New York Revival crew. I remember he shouted me out one day, and it was like Michael Jordan shouting me out, like, because I looked up to him, like, he had 40,000, 30,000 followers, and positive dude, good content, but positive, all about blessings. So when he had tweeted out, like, shout out Tommy G, I was like, damn, like, like it came from the heavens. So he was one. Also, New York Giants Rush. That was a collective. Craig, want to shout them out. Some good dudes over there. I was with them for a couple months. I did some writing for them. Was on a bunch of podcasts. Unfortunately, I didn't last long because Patricia Traynor reached out to me. Most know Patricia Traynor. She's a Giants beat reporter. She has her Locked On Giants show. And she also has Giants Country. That's a YouTube channel that she has and runs. And she asked me to be the lead podcaster. So when she asked me that, I was just kind of stuck because I was like, I've been doing this for a few months, and here comes somebody that, like, I knew way before doing content, like, not personally, but I knew of her. I knew of her work, and it could be a little bit overwhelming. It could be like, all right, like, yeah, I'll say yes, I'm ready, I want to embrace it, but then it's time to get the work done. Then it's time to make the donuts. You know what I'm saying? But that was the biggest blessing for me because that, opened up my audience. that put me in a different spotlight. So that was kind of, I just wanted to shout those people out because, like I said, you always help the ones that help you get started. Essential. So those were some of the people that helped me get started, helped me in the game, and got me to where I am right now.
Wow, that's amazing, man. But that's great. That speaks to, number one, your character, your hard work, your dedication, the person you are. So that's phenomenal, man. And that's an amazing story. And you know what? I hope those who may be listening, who are thinking about getting into it, just get a little insight into, number one, what it takes to to be a content creator and to reap the benefits of the hard work. So you are definitely one. I must admit, because I have been following you, and you definitely on point, and I've watched you continuously grow. So
thank you, brother.
Much respect to you. So,
and that was a good point. Not to cut you off real quick. You brought up an amazing point. So anybody out there watching that wants to do content analysis, whatever, podcast, talk on the radio, whatever, write articles for a small newspaper, don't let nobody tell you can't do it. Don't let nobody tell you that tweets are not content. I heard a creator a couple months ago say tweeting is not content. BS. Because you know what? If you put thought behind it, you put structure behind it, you throw a little bit of strategy, you throw a little bit of your opinion in there, that is 100,000% content. And without Twitter, without tweeting, there will be no Tommy G. There will be no Tommy's Takes. That's what got my foot in the door. So however avenue you want to get to where you want to go, don't let nobody tell you can't do it. Just have passion, work hard, and stay focused.
Amen. And that is the most profound statement and advice that I have heard through this whole spiel, man. Thank you for that, man. I really appreciate, and I know the audience will appreciate hearing that.
They're going to tell you that, coach. They're going to tell you that. Nah, this ain't for you. Nah, you gotta do this for like 20 years before you could get into the game. Like, nah, you gotta start this straight out of college. Nah. Don't listen to none of that stuff. Focus on you, focus on the content, work with great people. Like I'm working with Coach Ed, amazing individual, knows the game. Work with people that'll help you get better. Work with people that you could take knowledge from and that you could work collectively with. There's so many amazing creators out there. And the best part about it is everybody has their own little lane. We don't have to all do. You have some people out there that do funny stuff like El Jefe, right? You have, like I said, Eli Vibes. He has the positive approach. You have someone like yourself that's analytical, cerebral. Everybody can have their own lane. So don't let nobody tell you, or don't let nobody veer you off into something you don't want to do. Sorry.
No, that's great, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Now, you have a good creative presentation with all of the works that you do. What drives your creative and informative approach?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I touched on it a little bit back. I take great pride in what I do. I take it serious. It's not something that I take lightly. Listen, we're never going to be 100% correct. There's always going to be times we make some mistakes. I tweeted out some personnel stuff the other day. I made a mistake. I was like, oh man. The reason behind that feeling is because you are happy when people enjoy your content. You are happy when people partake in it and conversate. So the last thing you want to do is put out something incorrect, put out something wrong. That's what drives me creatively, to do so much research, to spend time researching, to work with other creators, pay attention to other creators, because the end game for us as creators is to give fans entertainment, to give them enjoyment, to give them knowledge, to give them perspective. So what drives me is not going out there unprepared, talking out of my side of my mouth, not knowing what I'm talking about. That's what really drives me. It's keeping the fans up to speed, keeping the fans knowledgeable, so they don't have to do the hours of research like we do. Just watch the show, watch Coach Ed's show, watch Tommy's Takes. You don't have to do all that stuff. So that drives me creatively. I don't want to put no wrong info, bad info out there. And like I said, I take this very serious. This is an honor to me. It's a privilege to sit in front of the camera, sit here with you, sit in front of Giants fans, and they partake in my thoughts, my creative process. That's an honor to me. So whenever you do something that's a privilege to you, you go 100%. You don't leave no stone unturned. That's what really drives me.
Wow. That's amazing, man. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Now, with the works that you've been doing, you've been focused on the Giants.
Correct. Yeah.
Do you intend to cover any other sports?
Yeah, it's funny. I did a show a couple weeks ago with a pretty big Yankees creator. I talk Yankees sometimes, and we were just chatting off the air. And he's like, I never understand why you only do Giants. And I said, well, what do you mean? That's I know the most about the Giants. That's most natural. He's like, yeah, but you have Giants fans. Giants fans love you. You have that. That's your natural ability. That's your natural lane. Why don't you talk more about football as a whole, the NFL? Why don't you branch out? So that's really what I would love to do. But it also comes that part, and I'm sure you could agree with this, is where you're like, damn, I don't know if I know enough about every team, about the NFL as a whole. I don't want to go out there and say something stupid and lose some of my, integrity, or lose some of what people think about me. But that's where I would like to go, Coach. I would like to talk more NFL, just in general, whether it's free agency, preseason, the regular season games. I would love to do more NFL stuff outside of the Giants.
You know who was amazing at doing that? Was Jeff.
Absolutely.
Jeff knew everything about every team, a lot of players.
It was ridiculous, dude. It was unbelievable.
Exactly. But he told me, he said, Coach, you just don't know how much I sit here and I just go through and I get alerts. He said that's the other thing. He gets alerts. He gets the NFL alerts. He gets Bleacher Reports, CBS. And I said, so you and I are doing the same thing? He said, yeah, Coach. He's like, and then usually when I get those alerts, I do a little research and bam, he said that. So you can do it. You have that mindset. So I think you would be phenomenal if you did that, bro. So, seriously consider that. Seriously, man, because I would love to see what your takes are on, some of the other teams that are out there. So
and shout out again to Jeff, the brother Jeff. Rest in peace, my brother.
Exactly. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Now, when I watch your work, you have a strong journalistic approach. Are there any other aspects of sports that you are involved in? Whether it's marketing and team management, promotions, or is it just strictly right now you're YouTubing?
Yes, that's a great question too. You start to see the theme of my life here. Like when I went to play football, didn't really know much, just kind of jumped in head first, didn't have a lot of build up. Same thing when I did the music stuff, the rap stuff. Same thing with the content. When Patricia Trainer came and got me, she's like, okay, can you write articles? I was like, no, but I could try. She's like, can you produce? No, but I could try. Can you edit? You get where I'm going with this, right? So what she did was little by little, she would give me challenges. The first 3-4 months we did Tommy's Takes, she did all the editing, production, she did all of that stuff. But this is, and I don't want to, gloss over anything, but this is one of the busiest people I have ever interacted with in Patricia. She not only should be reporter for the Giants, she's Locked On Giants host, which is like 3 to 4 shows a week. Giants Country, she has a full page, her Giants Country page. She has a team of writers, multiple, Coach Gene Clemens is on Giants Country. This is one of the busiest, hardest working women I've ever met in my life. So I felt guilty having her do everything. So I said, give me something. Let me do a little bit. So she would say, okay, this week you're going to do the editing. This is the software you need. I'll show you one time how to do it. You do this. Then a month later, okay, now you're going to do the thumbnails. Now you're going to do this. So now when it comes to my show, I fully produce it. I fully edit it. I do all obviously the writing. So that's really the gist of everything I do now. Maybe and the marketing piece of it, obviously, I'm big on advertising the show, whether I jump in, fan pages and advertise the show, online forums, whatever it is, that would kind of be the bulk of it. But, I'm proud of that because a year ago today, I didn't know how to do anything. I couldn't produce the show. I couldn't edit the show. I didn't know. All I could do was get in front of the mic, hit record, and send it over to her. And she would have to do all that work on top of what she did. So that's how I got to know a little bit more. And, now we're in a spot where I record, I edit, produce, and I just send it over. She gives me the approval. Done deal.
Wow. She has definitely helped you grow as a content creator. So that's kudos to her. I mean, is there anyone else who you feel has helped you grow as a content creator that's interacted with you in your works?
Yeah, like I said, obviously Pat's number one. I've been working with her for a year straight. She is absolutely amazing. She is the strongest woman, the hardest working woman. It's not always easy, right? Getting better. Listen, getting better, let's be real, is not always an easy, friendly, heartwarming process, right? Especially when, I'm down here as far as what I know, and she's been in the industry for 30 years. I got a quick funny story. So on Giants Rush, they were a little more lax with the content. All right, yeah, you want to write an article? We'll put it on the page. I had no idea what I was doing. So when she first reached out to me and she's like, can you write articles? I said, yeah, I got a bunch of articles. I wrote an article about the Giants' best wins and the Giants' best players. She's like, okay, send it over to me. I'll take a look. I'll give it some edits and I'll send it back to you. So I sent it over to her and I didn't get it back for a couple of days. So I wrote her. I'm like, hey, what's good? She's like, I'm still making edits. And I'm like, oh, you just started? She's like, no, it's been taking a few days. And she goes, I think it's better that you do YouTube. But she was real. I'm sorry, I'm staring off. But she was real with me. She was honest. If I had to, think about anybody else out there, my brother Hit Squad. Shout out to Hit Squad. That's my brother. Creatively, we're always in sync. We've worked together numerous amount of times. He's a creative dude. He knows the other end of it, the production, the editing, the music, the whatever it is. He's somebody that inspires me. We work together, inspire each other. And I would say probably the bigger, so to speak, creators, the entertainers, the talking giants, right? Always inspired by them. I'm friendly with them. I have open relationship with them. I could DM them, message them. These are people that kind of keep me on my toes, and I say, okay, this is what we're looking at. This is where we're going. This is how it's supposed to look when you do content for a team on a high level. So that would be kind of the collective right there. Just off the head. Apologize if I'm forgetting anybody. I love you. Anybody that's helped.
Hey, yeah, I understand. You just gave your Academy Award speech. Oh, if I forgot anybody, I
feel bad. I know I'm gonna forget somebody.
No, I think they all know. Trust me, we all know so and love you. So thank you. So
and you've been a great guy too. You've reached out to me numerous times, even really before I had my platform that I have now. You reached out to me. We've been on shows together. You've always been supportive, and this is the other side of it, right? So when you do content, you put a lot of work in it, and let's just say Tommy's Takes, and it's time to drop the episode, right? You always get that feeling like, are people going to watch it? Am I going to be in that live chat by myself? Is anybody going to comment? Not that you need that, you don't need that self-fulfillment, but the reason we do content, right, is because we want to share it, and we want to engage with the fan base. So when someone like you comes in the comments, drops a good comment, positive comment for me, back when the show was just getting started, little things like that mean a lot. Little things like that go a long way. So that was big for me too.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I mean, and it's not hard, man. You do some great work. So, and that, it's easy to, show appreciation to someone who's doing great content and giving great information. And in essence, you're helping your audience be smarter. So if you're giving them information about the game that's coming up or after the game, some people who are casual fans are going to take that information that you're giving, and they're going to be able to watch the game and be smart. Because that's my biggest thing. It's teaching those who. It's not teaching those who already know the game. I mean, I've done that for 20 years. I did minor league, semi-pro, taught guys who even were in the NFL. So I get it. But it's those who, especially women, I'm going to be honest, especially women and young kids who are just getting into the game, and you help them be smarter, because that's why anyone who ever asks me, well, coach, what would you do in this situation? I always say, what's the down and distance? That's the first thing out of my mouth. Then I go, well, where are they at on the field? So, so it's, I get where you're going. So, it's a beautiful thing, and I commend you for that. So
thank you, brother.
What are your long-term goals and aspirations, through being a content creator?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and that's a question that makes me think and makes me wonder. When you get into something quickly and it just kind of happens and it just kind of develops, I don't know if you really have long-term goals right away, but it is something that I have thought about, because let's be honest, a lot of work goes into this, and that's why shout out to a lot of content creators out there. Most of us content creators really don't get paid anything. We're just doing it for the love of the game. We're doing it to engage with an amazing, passionate fan base. But it does take a lot of time, and it is a process, right? So, for me, if I had to say, okay, this is my goal, this is what I want to do, I would love to have a syndicated show whether that's whether that's on TV, whether that's on the radio. Doesn't matter to me as long as I could talk sports. But I would love to have a broader audience that I can engage with, impact, that I could share the love of the game with.
Okay, that's a beautiful thing, and hopefully, the doorways will open, and you'll be able to do that soon. So,
God willing.
as far as you know, has your platform been an inspiration to other aspiring content creators?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing about doing this is an amazing community. Like, listen, you have your negatives. Everywhere you go, you're going to have negatives. You're going to have haters. You're going to have naysayers. But in this Giants, fan, content creator, analysis community, there's some amazing people out there. And there's a lot of younger people out there that want to do content, So I've had a couple of young people that I've kind of mentored on the side, guided them, tried to inspire them through my work. That's been huge for me. As far as anybody same age, higher, further along in the process, it's a competitive realm too. Let's be honest, right? It's competitive. We're grown men. We love the game. We want to talk football. So it's a competitive realm. So I don't really hear a lot of that from my peers. Whether you inspire me or anything like that. But I will say I have a couple of young cats that I'm kind of trying to teach the game, that are inspired by what I've done, that have kind of came up with me and seen my, my progressions through this. And I would say those are the ones I'm most focused on inspiring. And, the younger generation, the ones I was talking to earlier, where people are going to tell you can't, tweeting is not content. If nobody's watching your YouTube, that's not content. That's BS. That's BS. Because what you're doing this whole time is just sharpening your knife, man. You're sharpening it. You get better. Yeah, there may be 0 people in your live chat now. There may be 1 person next month, but as long as you keep getting better and you keep sharpening your skill, before you know it, you'll have people in that live chat. So that's kind of what I've been trying to show them.
I'll say this one thing to you. You do have one older person who you inspire. You're talking to him right now. So don't think that you don't have an older person.
Thank you, brother. That means a lot to me. It really does.
So I'm there with you. So
likewise.
Thank you, brother. What are some important lessons that you've taken from sports, and do you feel that they've contributed to your life outside of sports itself?
Yeah, I mean, what don't we take from sports in life, right? Sports teaches you everything, right? But if I had to name one thing, never giving up. And right when you feel like you want to give up, that's usually right before you're about to make a breakthrough. That's usually right when you're at that level to where you say, yes, I did it. I made it. I got through that. So that's been the strong, going to football camp, 98-degree weather, being really heavy set, running laps, running sprints, suicides, whatever it was, doing, Oklahoma drills, getting laid out, whatever it was, you never quit. The coach always said, get up, get off your side, get off your ass, whatever it was, get ready for the next drill. And that's life, right, man? You're going to get knocked down. You're going to get put down. You're going to have people that naysayers, negative people that get in front of you and the people you want to talk to. But you got to keep pushing through, because right when you're about to quit, I'm telling you that breakthrough is right behind that.
That's powerful, man. That's powerful. Thank you, man. Okay. Now, if people or any businesses, they want to get in contact with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, so I run a podcast on the Giants Country YouTube twice a week. It's called Tommy's Takes. I do that every Monday, Thursday. That's my main show. That's my main platform. If you want to reach me, my email is tommystakesny@gmail.com. Anybody wants to reach out to me there. Also, I'm on Twitter, TommyG105. Tommy's Takes, the show is also on Spotify. So email is usually the best. Or you could DM me on Twitter. Hop in my comments on Twitter if I don't read your DM. I'm always open to talk, chat. Don't have to be about just business either. If you want to chat, you want to talk football, you want advice, you're younger, you're trying to get in the game, whatever it is, I'm always here. The community is the most important part to me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, in closing, is there anything else that you want the people to know about Tommy G?
Yeah, I want them to know that when it comes to creating content, giving my analysis, engaging with fans, being that person you watch, like I said earlier in the show, it does mean a lot to me. I take a lot of pride in what I do. I don't take it lightly. It's a huge responsibility for me to sit here and just know that hard work is behind that. And I appreciate all the support out there. I appreciate everybody along the way that's had my back. I appreciate all the fans that comment, retweet, watch the show. You know, we're still trying to grow the show. As you know, everybody out there knows YouTube is very tough to grow. Just because you got 10,000 followers on Twitter, that's a completely different audience on YouTube. So we're still trying to grow that platform. But just know I'm passionate. I love the game. I do research. I'm a student of the game. And my sole goal is to connect with fans, give you some knowledge if you need it, be here to talk if you need it, and just be that guy to represent for the Giants creators, Giants in general, and for everybody that just wants to get out there and make something.
All right, man. Well, Tommy, I thank you for this, man. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. I can't thank you enough, man. So
thank you.
And to the audience, you know, thank you. I hope you got something from Tommy. Make sure you guys go out there, follow him, subscribe, hit the notification. Make sure you guys like his episodes and share on all social media platforms that help him continue to grow. So thank you all for tuning into this interview. So we're going to take a break and I'll be back for more. And you know what I say in sports, make sure you turn it on and turn it up.
The League of All Leagues is an adult professional football league that is beyond the game. The league is headed by one of the sport's premier woman leader of a men's football league, who has designed the league to assist in the development of players, teams, and owners as they work towards achieving their respective personal and organizational goals. Based in Linden, New Jersey, the League of All Leagues is comprised of teams playing in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. The league emphasizes sports business as all of its members are a registered business entity, professionalism, and establishing itself as the premier adult amateur professional league experience on the East Coast. Its mission is to provide the athletes, coaches, and businesses the elite opportunity to present their teams in the most professional league around. Each team provides their communities with great fan fest, interactions, and opportunities to continue cheering on their local heroes. If you are looking for some of the area's best football, come out to a game near you. You can find the League of All Leagues on YouTube at www.youtube.com/@League of All Leagues Football 6326 or on Instagram at www.instagram.com/League of All Leagues Alliance.
All right, everyone. Right now, we're going to talk a little NBA news. We have the NBA Finals going on. We also have some other stories that are, I don't want to say interesting, but they're a little bit crazy to me. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get into that, this segment is sponsored by Wise Consulting Solutions. It's the Wise solution for a bright future. This is where you can, where they understand that managing your finances can be challenging and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. That's why their team of financial experts are here to help you take control of your future and achieve your future goals. So if you're looking to get your situation in line, reach out to Wise Solutions. They're definitely there for you. Well, the NBA is winding down in terms of play for this year. You have the finals where you have the Denver Nuggets taking on the Miami Heat. And Miami, to their credit, has really worked their tails off. In the East, they beat the Milwaukee Bucks, who were the number 1 seed. They beat the Boston Celtics, who were the number 2 seed. They beat the New York Knicks, who were the number 5 seed. They also are the number 8 seed after working their way through the play-in. So for them to get to the NBA Finals, It's a hard task. And they've been led by a great superstar in Jimmy Buckets, or as he likes to say, Hemi Buckets. Denver has been led by the Joker. This man just continues to amaze me every time I watch him play. You know, you see him play, it's old school. Reminds me of someone recently said he's a combination of Larry Bird with Kevin McHale all intertwined in there. And you know what? Yeah, I could definitely see that. I definitely see where that comparison comes into play. So Denver was the number 1 seed out west, and they just continue to do their thing. Now, Jokic has been doing his thing, but one person who during the playoffs has played well is Jamal Murray. Now, they have a lot of a cast of other characters, Michael Porter Jr., Bruce Brown. You know, you could sit here and you can go through their whole lineup. And, you know, initially I said, okay, and, you know, is it reality or is it hype? But my man, Jeffrey T, 85, God rest his soul. Love and miss you, brother. He said, Coach, Denver's for real. I'm going to be honest. I still didn't believe it. I'm starting to right now. I'm really starting to. I mean, Denver is doing just about any and everything that they want in this series. Now, Miami has a win, but even when Jamal Murray or Jokic isn't, when they aren't playing their best or, you know, they're in foul trouble, the other guys are stepping up and they're showing that they have what it takes to win that title. Now, right now, Denver pretty much has control of this. You know, going into Miami and winning 2 there, that basically tells me everything I need to know. You know, they lost, you know, they split at home, but then they go down into Miami and you take 2. Denver is ready to get their fingers fitted for their championship ring. Now, it's still early. Miami can come back. You know, no one's ever done it. No one's ever been down 3-1 and come back and won 3 games to end up winning the series. But there's always the first time. Can Miami do it? We will see. But, you know, it's going to take a lot from Jimmy Butler, man. And right now in the finals, he hasn't been playing well. Is it a factor of Denver really focusing on him and taking away some of the things that he does? I think so. You know, they have good length. You know, sometimes they put Aaron Gordon on him a lot. And, you know, while Butler's 6'5", 6'6", Gordon is 6'9", 6'10". So he has good size, good length, good athleticism. So, you know, he's definitely handling his business, you know, going out there to do what he needs to do to control. I don't even want to say control, but I guess the word I'm looking for is impact Jimmy Butler whenever he has the basketball in his hand. So, and that's good defense, man. That really is. Whether it's deflections, whether it's contests of his shot, whether it's, you know, in good position that you force him to pass the ball and get the ball out of his hands, you know, positioning and rebounding, whatever it is, he's doing a good job. Now, I will say, it does leave me wondering that maybe Butler is just exhausted. I mean, the teams he had to play in the East to get here, you know, it's as this each series is going on, it's taken a little bit out of him. So I can say that I think that some of what he's going through is he's tired, but hey, it's no excuse. You paid all this money, you're in the NBA, you're in the NBA finals, you got to find a way. There have been plenty of guys who have been tired and they still stepped up and helped their team win. So he's no different. But I also understand that that could be the reasoning why. So, but again, like I said, I am expecting, to be honest, I am expecting Denver to close this out, whether it's Game 5, Game 6, or even Game 7. I just cannot see Miami coming back. It's too big of a hole for them to come back from. Maybe I'm going to be proven wrong, but right now, I mean, I was hoping Miami, could have won it, but I just can't see them. It's too deep of a hole. Jokic, like I said, he just does about anything he wants out there on the court. And look, that's not taking anything away from Bam Adebayo. I mean, he's played well in the series. I will say that. He's tried to do everything that he can, but he's really not a center. Even though they play him there, and he's more than happy to play it. He's really a power forward. But in the same token, the other guys have to step up. I mean, Gabe Vincent, the Boston series, he was amazing, but this series, I just don't see him. A lot of Miami's players, have not stepped it up to where I thought they were going to elevate their level of play, because they're in the NBA finals and it's a great opportunity for them. But sometimes, things come back to the fantasy ultimately becomes a reality, and the reality is that your best just isn't good enough. So, but hey, series is still playing, still have time, so we'll see what happens, as this series goes on. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about in terms of the NBA, and it's, how can I say it respectfully? It's a concerning situation. I don't know which way to go in terms of my thoughts. I mean, this is the Zion Williamson issue that was going on, where he's facing accusations by a former or current porn star. I mean, I don't know. She said she's not, but but her name is Mariah Mills, if I'm not mistaken, or if that's how you say her name. Let me put it that way. If you don't know, basically, Zion Williamson and his girlfriend put out a tweet that they're expecting their first child. Happy times, so on and so forth. Congratulations, good luck, wish nothing but the best for them, with their, with the birth of their upcoming child. Hopefully he'll be a great dad. She's going to be a great mom. But this woman, Mariah Mills, came out and basically accused him of lying to her, playing with her emotions. She was saying that she was his woman and all this and that, and she's upset because he has another woman pregnant, or she actually called her the B word. And at first I was like, oh man, come on, Zion, man, come on, bro. I mean, yes, pro athletes, they get caught out there. They think with the wrong area. They're chasing different women, whatever. But when you're involved in a relationship, if you're single, hey, do you. Any man, woman, hey, you're single. If you're open and honest about it, then do you. But if you're in a relationship, then you got to handle yourself accordingly and respectfully. Now, this woman, Miss Mills, put out so many different tweets. So, I mean, it just seemed like page after page after page after page after tweets. I was just, wow. Just totally, wow, Zion. Why are you putting yourself in this type of situation? What are you doing to this young lady who you're having a child with? I mean, but this woman, Miss Mills, just basically was attacking him and attacking him and attacking him and attacking him and attacking him with tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet. And like I said initially, I was, wow, he's caught in there. We've seen it so many different times before. Players get, caught out there, in chasing different women, whatever. You all understand where I'm coming from. We've seen it time and time again. But then something forced me to stop and think. Number one, the amount of tweets that she was putting out there was excessive. But there was one that caused me to say, wait a minute, why would she say something like that? And she basically says, you humiliated me when he was talking about the birth of his child. Number one, how's that humiliating you? Oh, you thought you were in a relationship? My understanding, many people did not know that he was, if true, that he was in a sexual relationship with this woman, Miss Mills. So where's the humiliation coming from? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, somebody contact me. Let me know. Am I way off base? Because, if she was humiliated, that means that it's in the public sphere and, people are out there talking about it, whether they see her pointing fingers at her, whatever, you understand where I'm going. It's out there in the public sphere. But my understanding is most people didn't know anything about it. So where is the humiliation? So in my way of thinking, and I'm sitting and I'm trying to put two and two and every other scenario together with this, the amount of tweets that she's putting out there in reference to this, number one, is creepy. Okay. If he embarrassed you, humiliated you, most women, you go at him, hey, you got a small manhood, things of that nature, or you lied, blah, 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 watch out for him, but not to the level that this woman has been going at him. So, like I said, it comes across as creepy. It leaves me wondering, number one, is this true? Is this someone who's just trying to get back out into the public sphere without having going into the porn realm, something to that nature. I mean, I even saw a video of her when she was on Wendy Williams, and Wendy Williams was addressing, it seemed like her career choice. I mean, I only saw a little clip of it, but when you said, look, when you put yourself out there, basically, basically what she's alluding to is that you open yourself up for criticism and people to come to their own conclusions. So when I sit and I look at this, it leaves me wondering. The other thing, and I know some of you would say, Ed, maybe you went over the board with that, but the mental stability of this woman. And I say this because, ladies and gentlemen, if you've seen the tweets, you understand where I'm coming from. The amount of tweets, it was not normal. It just was not normal. I've seen women go after men, through Twitter, through social media, and going at them. And we've all seen that. But when I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it was pages upon page. It was tweet after tweet after tweet. I want to say probably 30, 40 tweets. And I think I'm being nice. I really think I'm being nice when I say that, because that's a lot. Now, is it possible? Do I think honestly that, he had a sexual encounter with her? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah. I'm not going to be delusional and think nothing happened. But I think what it was is, hey, he thought he was, as they say, smashing a porn star. He wants his little cred there in terms of that. That's how they think about it and see it. So that's what he wants. Okay. No, not okay, but, we've seen that. And while it shouldn't be normal, it's a normal type of thing that, you kind of see. I don't want to say expect, but, you understand why young money. Okay. That's what they're going to do. You got some females that these guys chase that, you know what? Their thoughts, they're extremely promiscuous, so they just want to get their little notch on their belt. And then you have wifey, which is, his soon-to-be baby's mother. I don't know if they're going to get married, but, she's the one that she's having a child with. She's the one he is having a child with, not this other woman, this Miss Mills. Now, do I think they had some type of a sexual relationship? Yes. And I think in his head, that's all it was. It was just sex. And her, maybe she was thinking something else. Maybe she saw the money, and she figured, hey, she wants her piece of the pie in a sense. I don't know. I really don't know what's in this woman's head. It leaves me feeling some kind of way when I'm sitting down and I'm looking at this situation and I'm going, wow, this is crazy. And all I can say, it just really hasn't been overly a great look for the NBA, these last few months. I mean, Ja Morant and now Zion. As a Knicks fan, I'm starting to say, hey, I'm glad we got J.R. Barrett. Okay. I just have to critique his on-court play. I don't worry about anything off the court. But, when you see things like this, with Zion, everyone's always talked about his weight, his injury history. The young man is a talented player. There's no denying it. But, it just seems like there's been more off-court situation with him through injuries and now this than him being on the court. And I can only hope this situation is not how she's portraying it. It's how I'm perceiving it. It's not right either. It's not good either way, but you know what? He had his sexual whatever with her. That's for his girlfriend, baby mother, however she sees herself. That's for those two to handle. And if she's with him, standing by him, great. I mean, even his stepfather just said, he said he's behind his son 100%. So I think the people who really know him are going to be there for him. It's just thinking about this situation, when I saw the tweets, and I mean, I ladies and gentlemen, I got tired after a little while. I was reading, then I just said, you know what? I'm not going through all of this. It's not worth it, for what? For me, as I said, and sitting down and thinking about it, that's what I've come to. I mean, that's my thought. That's my conclusion. Look, he probably had a sexual relationship with her. He really didn't want a relationship. He just wanted the sex. And she's probably just trying to find some way to get back at him instead of your Johnson is too small, or, things of that nature. You're really, well, she did say he was terrible in bed, but, I mean, and maybe she did say it's small. I didn't read all of them, but this just, it's crazy. It's crazy. On the flip side, to Zion Williamson, I commend you for what you did for the kids, down there, where you donated $250,000 to one of the local schools, to help the kids, with uniforms or whatever else may have been needed. So, kudos to you, which shows the type of person who you really are, I mean, yes, they all do these things for publicity. I get it, but still, you're donating $250,000. I mean, that's not a small little amount of money. It's not like you're donating, a couple dollars. I mean, it's $250,000. That's more than I damn sure have. But again, kudos to you for doing that. Definitely thinking about the kids and their future. So, but again, we're wrapping up the NBA season, getting ready for the draft and the next generation. And, hopefully with this whole Zion situation, it won't go too far out of place. So right now I'm going to take a break. And we'll be moving on to the next segment. And so I will be back right after this. Brick by brick, the Jersey Bearcats arena football team, New Jersey's only arena team, brings you an exciting brand of American Arena League II football. Playing at Union County's Warnaco Sports Center in Roselle, New Jersey, the Bearcats bring many of the tri-state's best talent to shine in the AAL2's fast-paced atmosphere. The Jersey Bearcats continue to live by the brick-by-brick mantra as they claw their way towards another championship run. If you enjoy great football action, come catch all the action as the Bearcats look to represent the New Jersey tri-state area with elite football action and a championship mentality their fans will love. Jersey Bearcats Arena Football, brick by brick, they claw. What's good, y'all? It's Coach Ed here, bringing to you another talk. This one we're going to be talking about college football and the alignments there, what's going on there. But before I do that, this segment is brought to you by the League of All League Alliance, one of the premier minor league semi-pro football leagues in America, where you can see some of the best talent in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, competing week in and week out, bringing some of the best business minds, football minds to the area, whether on the field or in the community, supporting the communities. The League All League Alliance, it's more than just a game. Now, I said I wanted to talk about the realignment issues. And for those of you who are deep into the football like me, college football like me, and college sports in general, yeah, schools are leaving one conference for another. Others are doing their research. Some are wanting to leave their league to go to another league, but they can't because of contractual reasons. Okay. I'm going to flip this a little bit and go in a different direction. I was on a board, one of the forums, college football forums for a respective league, and just checking the temperature and seeing what people were talking about. And there was one segment where they were talking about kicking out schools out of a respective league. So, and I got to thinking, could a school or schools get kicked out of a conference due to poor performance? Should schools be alarmed? Could we have a constant realm of turnover with team removals, contract after contract after contract? And I'm talking about TV contracts. Now, some of you might say, oh, well, it would be hard to kick a team out unless they violated rules or this or that or whatever. Well, no. There has been a precedent set. Back in the old Big East, when the Big East had football, they actually did remove a team for poor performance. That was Temple University. Year after year, they continued to put a poor product on the field. And eventually, when they were going for a new TV contract, they told them they didn't want them back. And Temple was booted. So yes, the precedent is there. So to schools at these respective conferences in the SEC, the Big Ten, you guys got to pay attention. Now, hopefully with what we're seeing with the TV markets, the TV executives, they're not going to want this. Because if they're getting the eyes watching, then maybe it'll stay. But if they don't, schools would have to be wary. Now, the reason why I thought about this, yes, one of the schools that I follow, do I have a little concern? Yes, but, and I'm talking about Rutgers, but I don't think they would be pushed out because, say what you want, they're still in a good area, good market. They touched the New York market, but they also touch Eastern PA and Philly. They also are heavily recruiting, not just in Jersey, Eastern PA, but they're recruiting heavily in the heart of the Big Ten country, and they're getting kids. So, do I think Rutgers is going to be at the bottom of the barrel forever? No, I don't. I think they'll turn it around. It just needs a little bit of time, and most people today, you want it instantaneously, so I get it. But I think they'll turn it around. So we'll see. But schools like Rutgers, like Vanderbilt, like Duke, got to be mindful there is that possibility. So let's see how things go. I mean, hopefully this is just nothing. But again, like I said, I saw fans talking about it. I thought about it. There is a precedent. This is why I'm putting this on the table. But again, I'm hoping Rutgers does enough and has enough going for them. Fruitful recruiting ground, Jersey, being that it's in the Big Ten, kids are going to want to go to other Big Ten schools. So, if Rutgers leaves, maybe they get picked up by another conference, Big 12, even the ACC. Who knows? But that's just my perspective, my point of view. So let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. You know how to reach me. So I'm going to take a break. Be back right after this.
Shadow Worlds Radio, the feel-good experience that connects with the community and reflects life. With Shadow Worlds Radio, you're able to listen to great music, find them out in the community, positively impacting lives, addressing important social issues which affect our communities, and bringing an interactive approach to life, love, sports, and our families. If you're looking for great DJ service, contact Shadow Worlds Radio. To listen to powerful talk radio, tune into the Unconcealed Talk Show, where it's about making strong and positive moves. For great sports talk, check out Heart of the City, where passion for New York City sports kicks it to another level. To take it back in the days, listen to Daz Smith and the Retro Show, where he brings you classic music from down under. Good day, mate. Shadow Worlds Radio is bringing you everything you're looking for from an online radio and media outlet. Visit Shadow Worlds Radio's website at www.shadowworlds.com or our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Shadow Worlds Radio. And the Shadow Worlds spelled SHADOWWORLZ. Yes, Shadow Worlds with a Z.
Okay, let's talk about the NFL. Some of the things that's going on this week. And it's going to be very interesting what's going on, because right now, that interest for me stems from the running back market. Now, if you've been following what's been going on this year in the NFL, the running backs have not been getting paid. A lot of the other positions haven't been as much as others, but the biggest one has been the running back market. And for a while, there's been talk about devaluing the running backs in the NFL, so on and so forth. And it's a concern. Recently, this past week, the talk was of the Minnesota Vikings going to release their star running back, Dalvin Cook. He's one of the elite running backs in the league. Now, he'll get scooped up, don't get me wrong. Somebody's going to pick him up. But for Minnesota to want to let him go as a key component because they don't want to pay him, and because they feel that they can fit in other running backs or work running back by committee to replace what he brings to the table, speaks volumes to the running back position across the league. I mean, you had Miles Sanders, who left the Philadelphia Eagles, who played for the NFL Super Bowl. They didn't bring him back. He goes to the Carolina Panthers for a very low dollar amount, $6 million. When you have a Christian McCaffrey out in San Francisco making $16 million. So you see the difference in dollars. You know, you have the franchise tags, which Josh Jacobs of the Raiders and Saquon Barkley of the Giants were tagged with, which is $10.1 million. When quarterbacks are getting tagged at $32 million. Wide receivers are definitely tagged much higher than that. So you see the running back position is not thought of as a valuable position. It's an important position. Don't get me wrong. Each position is important on the NFL team. So I can argue the importance of a running back for a team, but that team, depending on what their scheme is, it may not be. So, and it's going to be interesting because right now, as a Giants fan, we're watching and we're waiting to see what happens with Saquon. Because if he's not signed, the Giants and Saquon don't come to some type of a contract going forward by July 17th, he's playing on that. He can only play for that franchise tag contract. And then after that, does that mean he's leaving the Giants? As opposed to maybe signing him for a 3-year and you can get out after 2? It's really, really interesting just to see, I don't want to say the demise, but how the feeling of importance the running back is. I mean, I grew up in an era where the running back was one of the elite positions. For years, for decades, you heard the top players to ever play the position was, a guy like Jim Brown. You had Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Franco Harris. I mean, I can go on and on and on through the course of times. Gale Sayers. I mean, we can go all the way back up into the 30s and the 40s. Red Grange. There's always been a stable of running backs. As a defensive coordinator, as an offensive coordinator, I always relied on the running back. As a defensive coordinator, I relied on taking away the running game to make an offense one-dimensional. And to see the way the position has been devalued, it just drives me crazy. Because a running back is needed. Because how else are you going to have an effective play-action offense? Because if the defense doesn't respect your play-action game, it's going to make your passing game that much harder. See, the running game is needed to help the passing game. The passing game is needed to help the running game. They all work together. You need that running game because, hey, what happens if you're in a close game and you're up by the lead and you start to get into that 4-minute range and you want to start eating up that clock? You want to be able to effectively run. Where if you're not able to run, it's easier to defend you. And you're not going to be able to chew up the clock and eat up the clock and, play strategy with the opposition. I mean, I do think there's going to come a time where the running back position is going to pick back up. Maybe not be as elite and the most dominating as it was back in years past. No, I'm not expecting to see the wishbone type of an offense consistently. Or, you're running the freeze option out of the I formation. No, I'm not expecting that. But I am expecting to see the running game used as an effective and an efficient tool in the game of football to help balance out the passing game. When I say balance, it doesn't have to be 50-50. It could be 60-40 for the pass. It could be 55-45. Hey, it could be 61-39. That's what I mean by balance. Because, the opposition has to at least respect the thought of the run game. They have to respect that. Because if they don't respect that, it's easy. Defensive linemen are easy. They just know, let's just rush the passer. Now if you have a running quarterback, okay, you're gonna rush that quarterback differently. If you're rushing Lamar Jackson as opposed to Tom Brady, those are two different ways of rushing the quarterback. You're not gonna come crazy, fast, hard, if you're going up against a Lamar Jackson, because he can maneuver, he can shake you, he can spin out. Where Tom Brady was in that pocket. Well, Tom Brady's retired, but let's go to Jared Goff. He's kind of similar with the Detroit Lions. He's a pocket passer, and that means he stays in the pocket for the most part. He's not going to run out of the pocket unless it's a really necessity. And even still, if he moves out of the pocket, you're not expecting him to run down the field, where a Lamar Jackson, he can give you either or, even if he's out on the edge. He's just that dynamic. So I'm really interested to see how the future of the running back position and offenses, how you can work the running game back into it. And guys like a Saquon Barkley, who is a dynamic player. He's not just a runner. You know, he can go out there and catch passes. Yes, last year it was a little bit rough, but he's still, if he's out there running patterns and catches the ball, he's still dynamic in that regard. So he gives you so much more than just, tossing the ball and let him run. You know, now, he does need to work on his pass blocking. I will admit that, but, you know, he at least gives you the effort. But the bottom line is, he gives you more than just being a one-hit wonder. So I'm intrigued. I'd like to see how that goes. You know, and you know, guys like Dalvin Cook, King Henry down in Tennessee, even Christian McCaffrey. You know, I'd like to see how their positioning and their grooming and how their play is going to be utilized going forward. Are we going to continue to see a decreasing? Because that also goes into, ladies and gentlemen, I look at it also in youth football in high school. The kids see running backs not treated in that way. They're not going to want to play the position. And then what? You're not going to have players there, which is going to take that game, part of the game away. So, well, that's just my rant. So I wanted to give you my thoughts and my perspective. So let me know what you think. All right, going to take a break, and I will be back after this.
Go Travels, helping people get out and explore the world. For travel plans, Go Travels will help you to experience new adventures anywhere. We specialize in travels throughout North, Central, and South Americas, but we can help you find those special places anywhere in the world. Retake. Go Travels, helping people get out and explore the world. For travel plans, Go Travels will help you to experience new adventures anywhere. We specialize in travels throughout North, Central, and South Americas, but we can help you find those special places anywhere in the world. We will be the guiding hand as you create engaging, long-lasting, and life memories. However you wish to get to your destination, via land, air, or sea, Go Travels is the one you can count on to get you where you need to go. In addition to travel adventures, we can help you set your plans for sporting events, concerts, and theme parks. We are experienced at catering to all your travel needs. When you're traveling outside of the U.S., we will help you make sure all your paperwork is in order or help you obtain whatever is required for your travels. To book a trip, visit the Go Travels website at www.getouttravels.com or our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/getouttravels. You can also email us at getouttravels@yahoo.com or call to 571-888-5809. And Go Travels is spelled GETOUTRAVELS. Go Travels, where we bring your adventure to life.
All right, everyone. Well, today's show has been another great one. So thank you all for tuning in today and being there and rocking with me as always. So I couldn't do this without you guys. So thank you. To all my sponsors, Shadow Wells Radio, the League of All Leagues, Get Out Travel, Wise Consultant, and the Jersey Bearcats Arena Football Team. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. To all of you who continue to support me, follow me, thank you. Continue to help me grow the channel, pushing it out there, getting it out there into the algorithm. So thank you. So I hope you guys really like today's show. Make sure you tell your friends about it. Make sure you follow me through all the social media platforms. Like I said earlier, hit me on YouTube. Make sure you leave comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Hit me on Twitter. If you got my number, hit my phone. Also, make sure on all the different platforms, whether it's Spotify, whether it's iHeart, Amazon, you name it, whatever you do, look for me there. Whether it's through Shadow Worlds Radio, the Unconcealed Talk Show, or simply put, Coach Ed's Reading the Text. There you go. Bring it up. So thanks again for everyone. I'm looking forward to coming in next week with another exciting show. And like I always say in sports, make sure you guys turn it on and turn it up. Peace.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shadow Worlds Radio presents Coach Ed's Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
This is the Read and Attack Show.
This is a sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
And I give you my perspective.
Coach Ed
And attack.
Sports Talk Show.
I'm going to attack it just like I would as a coach.
Read and attack.
Read and attack.
Sports Talk
I'm
Show.
going to attack it just like I would as a coach.
Coach Ed's Read and Attack.
And I give you my perspective.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
Thank you all for tuning in today.
Read and Attack. Sports
This
Talk
is a
Show.
sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
Coach Ed
Read and attack.
Sports Talk Show. Read and Attack.
Read and attack show.